betting you like people, and I'm betting you love freak mode, and I'm betting you like girls that give love to girls and stroke your little ego. I bet you I'm guilty, your honor. That's just how we live in my genre. Who in the hell done paid the road wider? There's only one blow and one rider. I'm a damn shame, order more champagne, pull a damn hamstring, tryna put it on ya. Let your lips spin back around, come. Slow it down, baby, take a look. Blow my whistle, baby, let me know. Girl, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we start real slow. You just put your lips together and you come real close. Can you blow my whistle, baby? Here we go. Everywhere I go, my whistle ready to blow. Shawty don't even know she can get in it for the low. Told me she not a pro, it's okay, it's under control. Show me soprano, cause girl you can't handle. Baby when stars building, you come up in park club. Girl I'm loose, so when my Bugatti the same note. Show me your perfect bitch, you got it, my banjo. Talented with your lips like you blew out a candle. So I'm using, so you can make it whistle with the music. Hope you ain't got no issues, you can do it. Even if it's no bitch, you never lose it. Can you blow my whistle, baby?
So many ways there. When you go feel use your MTN Momo wallet, make payment with scan to pay. When you go use the QR code, or you go feel use the merchant ID, or on bank POS terminal. You go feel also transfer money between mobile money wallet and bank account, all on MTN Momo. Enjoy real convenience in all your financial transactions and live life the vital way with MTN Momo. We are good together. Just Momo it. We're there for you everywhere you go.
25 years of bold and fearless journalism. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios here in Kokomlemle, a digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country including ATL FM in Cape Coast, Radio Max in Takrady, and A1 Radio in Bogatanga. We're around the world at myjoyonline.com. In this edition, Achim Ebuakwa Traditional Council demands immediate closure of Bright Senior High School in the Eastern Region, where school officials allegedly instigated students to attack WAEC officials.
None of the teachers was there at the time of the incident, and also that the director of the school was prevented to enter the premises before the students.
We hear from them as the school authorities appeal to the examinations body to reconsider decision to change the venue for students writing the WASI. Now, Bono Regional Police Commander arrests 3 persons in connection with the violence that left 1 dead and 2 others in critical condition at Nkrankwanta in the Doma West District of the Bono region.
Overheard shooting sound of weapons from those who were running away. So it means that some of them were armed. So far, we have arrested 3 persons who are assisting police for our investigation.
Meanwhile, Electoral Commission blames failure of political parties to obey rules governing registration exercise for violence that seen 2 Ghanaians lose their lives.
If the political parties will abide by the rules governing any electoral activities in Ghana, Ghana will be the best place to run elections.
But did they do so?
Not at all.
And in the second part of our hotline documentary, Missing Kilos, Joy News exposes more officials of license buying companies who have adjusted their weighing scales with bags of cement.
Okay, yeah, with the wow, semper. Cement near we 50, but I have 43. Internet we see 7 kilos.
I have details also in sports.
CEO of Data Bank Kojo Adai Mensah questions the management structure of Kumasi Asante Kodoko. He thinks it will be counterproductive to the plans of new CEO Nanaya Amponsa.
And this week on Spotlight, we ask, where are the once vibrant female artists whose music we boogie to?
My name is Rocky, I'm about to rock you. If you are not sick, come make we bust to lose.
I'll just say that I've retrogressed.
Maybe you could be my boo. and maybe you could do the two.
That and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Please stay for details. And this afternoon, the Emefa Traditional Council is demanding immediate closure of Bright Senior High School in the Eastern Region, where Principal Bright Nyako Amponsa allegedly instigated students to attack WAEC officials supervising the Wasi at the school center. WAEC officials on the ground accuse the principal of being behind the attack, which left some invigilators and journalists injured. But the school, in a statement issued yesterday, said both the director and the teachers were not present during the chaos. Official reports.
In a viral video footage, the director of the Bright Senior High School is accused of asking the students to stop writing a paper.
So the headmaster just told the students to stop their exams and they should all come out.
Officials of WAEC have said the director asked students to attack them, but the school has denied the claim. Head of Communications at Bright Senior High School, Dr. Isaac Asari, says the director was prevented from entering the examination area when the chaos ensued and could not have been there to instruct the students.
There was no way one could suggest or think that they instigated the students for that behavior.
Dr. Asari also indicated that their teachers who earlier assisted with invigilation had been replaced with WAEC's external invigilators and could not have been present during the incident.
None of the teachers was there.
That's the Eastern Region correspondent Kofi Sian's report. Well, in a statement released a short while ago, the Emefa Traditional Council is demanding the immediate closure of Bright Senior High School. Adding, information available to the council suggests exam results from students of the school are usually falsified. Enes Menu has a copy of that statement. What more does it say?
It says that this statement is provoked by the incident of examination fraud of grave significance in direct relation to the assault of Mr. Jan Mensah and Emmanuel Pacom, an official of the West African Examination Council and a reporter of the Daily Graphic, respectively, in their lawful duties to insist on a fair conduct of the WASI exam. Now, the assault was instigated and ordered under the misdirection of Bright Amponsa, the proprietor of Bright Senior High School, which for over a decade has been engaged in ultra-commercial and profiteering aims, which runs against the established interest of the educational policy and integrity of public examination. The above is not an isolated incident. It confirms several reports of corrupt and exploitative moves of Bright Senior High School. Of more importance to this matter and of illustrative and evidential significance is his bribery of certain officers of the West African Examination Council over the past decade. This situation is proven by the honesty of Mr. Jan Mensah, who decided not to bow to the filthy temple of indecency and corruption. The Emefa Traditional Council takes this matter seriously. I am directed to express publicly that the exam results from the rogue Bright SHS are falsified. It has become evident that 90% of graduates of the Bright SHS drop out of public universities in their first year due to the lack of ability to meet the intellectual and academic demands of tertiary institutions. The Emefa Traditional Council is most concerned with the fact of abuse and degradation of its young mind and regrettably is unable to tolerate the situation.
That's my colleague Enes Kojomene bringing us portions of that statement issued by the Emefa Traditional Council. Thankfully, we've been joined on the phone by DM Oforiata, who is a state secretary for the Emefa Traditional Council. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News. So if I read right, I heard that this has happened over a decade ago. How come we are now raising the issue as a traditional council?
Well, the Traditional Council is first of all appalled by these incidents that have taken place. Obviously, the Traditional Council has no capacity to investigate things apart from the snippets of information that we get. So it's a matter which have been discussing until recently we got this evidential proof that the proprietor and managing owner of the school, his attempt to compromise the integrity of exams for his own personal aggrandizement, decided to order students, young students, to beat up a reporter of a newspaper. and WAEC officials who have been assigned to ensure there was fairness in the examination process. I think that Nananom were appalled by these incidents, and we have heard about these incidents for the last 10 years. But of course, Nananom are not the regulatory authority. In fact, as a matter of fact, we do not have the right, even though the school operates within the traditional council. Of
course, but do you bring the attention of authorities to this?
But of course, I mean, you don't have serious evidential proof apart from the incidents that recently took place in the full glare of the public. You know, this is what has gotten around to act on this matter.
So you're demanding a total closure of the Bright Senior High School. What then happens to these students of the school?
Well, I think that, you see, if you look at the history of the Bright Senior High School, it's a congregation of never-do-wells from various secondary schools within Machimobakwa and elsewhere. You know, you cannot say that you attended the secondary school, regular secondary school, and you failed your paper. So you want to go and pay somebody money so that you can attain public examination results to go to public university through DBT and fraud. You understand? If we begin to inculcate in the youth of our country that there's nothing wrong in attaining academic excellence through fraudulent means, you understand? It's a complete recipe for disaster, because the same forces and students who in future will sit in public office and see nothing wrong with robbing the country. But
like you rightly said, Mr. Oforiatta, the traditional council does not have the authority to do the things that you're calling for, like you said earlier. Shouldn't you rather be calling for an investigation, a thorough investigation, before you demand the closure of the school? Well, I think that there has been, which has been raised over the period, you understand, and it's come to the extent that the traditional council feels compelled to act on the matter by virtue of these incidents that took place last week in the full glare of the public, which has been widely reported. You know, I don't think that there's any need for any further investigation. I think that this man is just toiling with the Has he been giving a hearing? Has he been giving a hearing, though?
Well, but what hearing do we need? You understand? I'm saying that we have had incidents of these examination compromise on integrity.
So like you rightly said, you've heard. Like you rightly said, you've heard. The laws of natural justice demands that you give them a fair hearing, shouldn't you? Well, but that's the reason why, as part of our demands, we're also saying that the police service investigate the matter to ensure that the perpetrator in this matter, especially the managing owner, is brought to justice. Okay. We're grateful for your time. That's Adiem Oforiatta. He's the State Secretary for the Ibwakwa Traditional Council. This is the Midday News. We enter the election headquarters. And the Bono Regional Police Command has arrested 3 persons in connection with the violence that occurred at Nkrankwanta in the Doma West District of the Bono region. Now, 1 person has died, with 2 others in critical condition after a renewed clash between some supporters of the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress NDC. Now, it's unclear what sparked the violence, but speaking on News Desk on the Joy News channel, Public Relations Officer of the Bono Regional Police Command, Augustine Kingsley Opong, said both factions were armed. We'll hear from him shortly, but Adom FM correspondent Dominic Donina joins us via phone with more on this. So, Dominic, paint a picture to us on the atmosphere in the town today.
Right. Following the incident that happened on the 18th of this month and the EC's registration woke up, the place looked a bit chaotic from the beginning, but with the help of the security in the area, peace has returned to Nkrankwanta, the peaceful atmosphere at Nkrankwanta and its environs.
Well, Dominic, I would beg you to reposition yourself, but let's talk about the man who lost his life. What do we know about him?
Yeah, according to the party, I spoke to the youth organizer of the NPP. He said he's a party member who serves the party in diverse ways. So during this mop-up, he was sent to the area to help the party in doing its work. And unfortunately, this incident happened.
There are those who are in critical conditions. Let's talk about them also.
Yeah. 2 are currently in critical condition. 1 is in Senior Regional Hospital. He's an NDC member, Kwame Grutan. And then the NPP member, Malam Ilyasu, who is also currently at Nkrankwanta Polyclinic receiving treatment. And we have wanted to speak to them, especially the one at Nkrankwanta, saying that we are very close to the area. But the security were there conducting their operation as to what really caused that mayhem. So we are yet to speak to him after the security has left the hospital.
Well, you've been picking more information on this. What else do we know about the splash?
Yeah, information we are picking suggests that when the incident happened on the 18th, after the gunshot, the ambulance van in the area rushed to the scene to take the deceased to hospital. But some party supporters from both parties attacked the ambulance van. So he had to speed off to Ngankwanda Forest, where later on security in the area took the body, but then he was bleeding to the ambulance van at Ngankwanda Forest, and he was later on sent to Doma Presbyterian Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival.
That's our Dome FM's correspondent, Dominic Donina. Well, the police in the region says it has picked up 3 persons who were assisting with investigation. Augustine Kingsley Opong is the regional police PR.
They were fighting each other. You will not be able to denote between MPP and DC. So police tried to stop and bring peace, but nobody will listen. Due to this, some men were called to come and add to the policemen and military who were there. It led to the using of rubber bullets to disperse the people. It was after they have all run away from the place that we realized there was one guy who was lying there.
So he died as a result of bullet wound from...
We are suspecting that it's a bullet wound.
From the police
that will come out when we to find out some aspect of the things that went wrong there.
Were any of those engaged in the violence armed?
Yes, but we overheard shooting, sound of weapons from those who were running away. So it means that some of them were armed.
Have you made any arrests so far?
Yes, so far we have arrested 3 persons who are assisting police for our investigation.
That's Augustine Kingsley Opong. He's a Bono Regional Police PR. They're speaking to my colleague Bernice Abubedu Lamsa on the Joy News desk on the Joy News channel. Now, both parties have, however, denied this claim by the police. Now, the Electoral Commission says failure of political parties to obey the electoral rules is what accounted for the violence that marred its registration exercise. 2 persons have so far lost their lives, one at Banda in the Bono East region and another at Nkrokwen in the Eastern region in electoral-related violence. At least 16.6 million Ghanaians have so far registered for the December 7 elections. The EC has been speaking on its assessment of the exercise. There's more in the following report.
The inter-party resistance against the new voters register.
Even before the exercise took off on June 30, there had been mounting opposition to the move by some political parties and civil society organizations who questioned the relevance of the exercise, especially with the onset of the coronavirus pandemic. The NDC, PNC, and APC protested the compilation of a new register and took their fights to the apex court. But it granted the EC the leeway to register citizens using the Ghana card and passport as source documents. Still, many were not happy.
We were not respecting any of the safety protocols. Of course, you may find a few people in mask, but the large majority had thrown that mask bit into the gutters.
Attention shifted to accusations of voter suppression as the NDC alleged government had deliberately deployed soldiers to its strongholds to intimidate people from registering.
Mainly the strongholds of the NDC, the military was very visible. And then in constituencies that MPP seems likely to lose, the military was visible.
The Defense Ministry denied allegations of intimidation.
The military of Ghana is a very professional institution. They will not and cannot be used by any individual to do their dirty work.
Reports of pockets of violence emerged in areas like Asawase and Banda, where the parties accused each other of bashing prospective voters. In Banda, 1 person was killed in an electoral-related violence.
The people in Bana are afraid to go to the station center and register. This goes on, we will advance ourselves.
They were holding guns and stuff, thinkers, guns, everything they were holding it. So even you cannot stand. You have to.
The most unforgettable aspect of the exercise is the Kaswa shooting incident, in which EC officials fled the Step to Christ registration center after gunmen seized their motorbikes, set them ablaze, and fired multiple shots in the process. The NP Mavis Kumsin admitted to firing the shots.
And I'm not around the third time. It's not a mistake for and I'm a warning shot. I didn't direct it on anybody. So I gave warning shots, no, more.
The EC's mop-up registration at its district offices over the weekend was also not incident-free, as one person was shot at Nkrankwanta in the Doma West district of the Bno region.
Now, police and military intervened, and that saved the day. They fired many warning shots, causing people to flee. This was when we heard that a member of the MPP had been hit.
The commission says political parties failed to obey the rules governing the exercise, hence the violence.
If the political parties will abide by the rules, regulations governing any electoral activities in Ghana, Ghana will be the best place to run elections.
But did they do so?
No, I will not tell lies. They did not.
They did not.
If they have done that, the tension, the attacks, and the rest that you are talking of will have taken place.
Election Observer Group Kodeo, meanwhile, wants the EC to extend the registration exercise, as it believes some citizens may not have registered due to the violence and intimidation.
If even we have 1,000 Ghanaians who genuinely they qualify and they have not been able to register, the EC must go into this.
That's Project Coordinator of Kodeo, Rhoda Osea, for speaking on Beyond the Lockdown, ending that report. Now, some Ghanaians on the streets of Accra have been sharing their own views on the just-ended exercise.
People do not get the understanding that the EC officials will come to their areas. So a lot of people moved and massed up at one polling station. The EC should next time come around with mobile vans, because not everyone has access to TV or radio.
Community via no say adienu anase adwuma ye be ye ni say na ye first week of registration nipa bebre na eba register me nim say
the social distancing rules were not adhered to. This is all because of the crowding at the polling station. The first few weeks were terrible, but getting to the end, the numbers decreased.
2 hours na nipa ba ko be ba ye nya 15 a day 13 first new na first week na overcrowding kakra Mr. Akon next it's sorry no party to 4 o'clock. You do a lie
The first week, I went to the polling station at 4 a.m. and the crowd I saw was unbelievable. I found people who live in other areas around. I questioned them, but they told me the EC will not come to their communities. So that education didn't go down too well with the ordinary Ghanaian.
You heard there some views of some Ghanaians on the just-ended voter registration exercise. This is your election headquarters. And other matters on the election headquarters table, the opposition National Democratic Congress is asking government to immediately render account for monies collected by the Power Distribution Services, PDS, in its 7th month of operation from March to October 2019. National Communications Officer of the party, Sami Jemfi, says persons who were complicit in the fraudulent Power Pact, which was terminated under questionable circumstances, must be made to cough out all monies back into the coffers of the state. He's been addressing a press conference here in Accra.
The NDC is deeply worried about the fact that resources which otherwise would have gone into developmental projects in order to uplift the poor are suddenly going to line the pockets of greedy officials of the Akufo-Addo government. We spoke about the Gate corruption scandal, in which 5 million liters of contaminated fuel was sold by BOST to some unlicensed businesses in the year 2017. I am talking about the gargantuan and stinking PDS corruption scandal that most of you are very familiar with. Contrary to the effort of Ghana's parliament to protect the public purse, and in order to safeguard our interest in the concession, the Akufo-Addo government shamefully conspired to bend the rules for PDS by changing the key requirements of a bank guarantee to a less liquid instrument, an insurance guarantee, thereby jeopardizing the assets, the over 20 billion cedis assets, worth of assets of ECG.
Now, the National Communications Officer of the NDC, Sami Jimfi, let's head live to the NDC headquarters from where my colleague Manuel Kranting joins me. Now, Manuel, the NDC also stated how their flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, will not be a clearing agent for corruption. Explain to us what they mean by this.
So, the NDC's communication officer, Sami Jimfi, makes a point that the Akufo-Addo government has been condoning corruption, and makes a point also that the PDS deal has been swept under the carpet without any proper investigation to bring a finality to that. He says that over $1.5 billion US dollars have been lost in terms of revenue to the state and so on and so forth. But a future NDC government led by John Dramani Mahama will not condone such. Will make sure that all perpetrators complicit in the case are brought to book.
That's my colleague Manuel Kranting reporting from the NDC headquarters. We move out from the election headquarters here on the Midday News. Still to come, but our top stories first. Chimebuakwa Traditional Council demands immediate closure of Bright Senior High School in the Eastern Region, where school officials allegedly instigated students to attack WAEC officials. And then in the second part of our hotline documentary, Missing Kilos, Joy News exposes more officials of licensed buying companies who have adjusted their weighing scales with bags of cement.
Okay, yeah, we there. Wow, semper. Cement near we 50, but I 43. Internet say we 7 kilos.
We also have sports, and then this week on Spotlight, we ask, where are the once vibrant female artists whose music we used to boogie to?
My name is Taki. I'm about to rock you. If you want to come make we pass to lose.
I'll just say that. We begin with dancehall queen Kaki after the break.
The European domestic football action is heading for a big finish as the 2020 UEFA Champions League takes center stage. It's all on the line as Man City, PSG, Barcelona, Juventus, Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid face off in an action-packed mini-tournament. Catch it live on SuperSport from the 7th of August. Get DSTV and find out who will be crowned champions of Europe.
Oh my goodness, you cannot write the script for this. This is unbelievable stuff.
Thanks for staying with the best here on the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. Hans Mensando. He has sports.
You have fun?
No.
Kotoko?
No, none.
Okay. Right, so Asante Kotoko obviously have got themselves a new CEO, but CEO of Data Bank, Kojo Adai-Mensah, has questioned the management structure of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. The Porcupine Warriors last week appointed Nanaya Amponsa as the club's new CEO. He's promised, among other things, to get the club to the Club World Cup. Kojo Adai-Mensah thinks the current managerial structure at Kotoko will be counterproductive to the plans of the club's new CEO.
I'm sure you all know I'm not a fan of this Otumfo appoints a board. Yeah. The board appoints a CEO. Now we are not sure who is bankrolling the club. A CEO could bankroll the club, and the board thinks they have the authority from Otumfo, and then the CEO feels that he's bankrolling the club, and so he has authority. It's messy, and it can be very messy with Kotoko. And I've been there. I've seen it several times. I've seen it with Herbert and PV Obeng. I've seen it with Major Yao Larson. I've seen it with, was it PV and Sylvester Sariusu? I've seen it all. So this is nothing new to me, but knowing Nanayao and knowing what he really wants to do for Ghana football in particular, and not even just Kotoko, but Ghana football, I can't help but wish him the best.
The CEO of Data Bank, Kojo Adai-Mensah. That's your sport.
Thank you very much, Hans Mensah, and with the latest from the world of sports. Now, in our continuing series of the stealing of cocoa beans from farmers, Joy News exposes more officials of licensed buying companies who have adjusted their weighing scales in the Ashanti region with bags of cement. The Ghana Standards Authority has reviewed almost 50% of over 4,000 weighing scales used by licensed cocoa buying companies during the 2016 to 2019 cocoa seasons had been tampered with. In the second part of our three-piece documentary, Joy News' investigative journalist Kwete Nate reviews how the weight of 50-kilogram bag of cement shrinks to 43 kilograms on the scales of some licensed buying companies.
I will be finding out what the disincentive is in this district that's discouraging even children of cocoa growers from becoming farmers like their parents. I will be using a 50-kilogram bag of cement to test the scales of the various private and public licensed buying companies. I'm driving to Crowfrom. It's a dusty patch with overgrown bushes on both sides of the road. I have come to a madhouse used as a shed. It belongs to a purchasing clerk with Yonkopa licensed buying company.
Our managers are not interested in how we transport cocoa to the depots or go for meetings. All they care about is the money they give you to purchase the cocoa.
No. The license company then.
He's gripped with fear after we detect adjustments in his scale. The 50-kilogram bag of cement registers 45 kilos after the readings. This means he steals 5 kilos on every 50-kilo bag of cocoa.
Then I say, I say 2.5 na above from.
It appears 2.5 kilos have been stolen.
50 kilos.
No,
40. Okay.
The weight of the cement bag is 50 kg. The readings show 45 kilos.
You have an excerpt of the second part of the Joy News Hotline documentary, Missing Kilos. So it airs later at 8:45 p.m. on the Joy News channel on the Multi TV. It's also free to air on your digital terrestrial platforms. You know where to leave your dial. Yeah, it's also on our social media platforms. It's time for entertainment. And Becky Chinebwadako is here in the studio.
This week we decide that we will throw the spotlight on some of our favorite musicians, female, who have been missing in the industry. So today we're starting with Kaki. Yes. Kaki is a Ghanaian dancehall artist. She signed her first record deal with Extra Large Music. Kaki grew up as a music lover who listened to various genres of music and did karaoke versions for many of the ones she cherished. At the university, an opportunity came for her to feature in one of the reality shows on TV called Stars of the Future. She was part of the singing competition that ran on TV for weeks, but unfortunately she got evicted along the way.
Just come again, we just come again, we just come again, we just come again, we just come again.
There have been a lot of questions about what could have attributed her break from the music industry.
I'm doing music and I'm a nurse, so usually on off days I'm in studio and stuff like that. I just say that I have retrogressed.
Well, the singer cum nurse successfully graduated from the Anglia University in London 2019 and also announced a marriage which took off in 2020.
So I've retrogressed into that state. I'm working. I put out one just to make people know that I'm not gone. I'm just still around, but I'm, putting things in order. So it's not easy, but it's not impossible.
For her fans, they just want their songstress to come back and serve them with some hot singles. She simply can't be described as a pace-setter, being the first female in Africa to ever win the Reggae and Dancehall Award, the first and only Ghanaian female artist till date to be nominated for a Channel O Africa Music Awards, with her nominations for Most Gifted Reggae Dancehall Video Award, Channel O Awards 2013, and the first and only Ghanaian female artist till date to be selected to perform at Big Brother Africa, the #1 TV reality show in Africa held in South Africa. Too much.
Where was she now?
Well, she got married in January, and now she is enjoying marriage.
I love Kaki. And that's it for the midday news. Thank you very much, Rebecca Dakuchinibwa. Now, there's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I'll take a 2-minute break. I'll be right back with Living Word. We're talking about excellence is by grace or by works. I'll be back shortly.
So everyone says I'm a Kosia Philip.